Here at the AnomicAge, we know that these times of uncertainty are stressful. It is incumbent upon all of us to put our fears first and bow down to government tyranny. Gone are the days of freely leaving your home, working, and social interactions. In exchange for safety, we will trade liberty. At the AnomicAge, we understand. However, just in case you want to get off your knees and stop being a sniveling coward, check out the JohnAge project at AnomicAge.com.
Meet Ann Morrissey, who is here with her daughter, Dareth. Dareth is 17 years old. Mrs. Morrissey, I don't have to tell you that most parents would be extremely depressed if their daughter came home one day looking like this. I assume that was your response shock, anger, depression? What was it?
I was extremely angry. I really went bananas.
Yeah, how old was she when this happened?
Possibly 13, 14 years old.
We're talking like it's a disease, and
Well,
yeah. How did she...
Salon Real and Chevy.
Propagating truth in a world of lies. You are listening to the JohnAge Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
You found it. You're here. You're headlong down the runaway train that is the AnomicAge, and I am your host, JohnAge. Happy to be back with you once again in the not-so-wee hours of the PM. Thanks for joining us today. We got a great show for you. Please check out AnomicAge.com if you've not already done so. Like all the likes, subscribe to all the subscriptions, paypal.me/AnomicAge, patreon.com/AnomicAge as well. Like all the likes, subscribe to all the subscriptions. We got the Cash App. Buy me a cup of coffee. We got so much stuff up there you can't even contain it. So check it out. If you're new to the show, if you're watching this on YouTube, keep in mind that what you are seeing on the YouTube is not even a drop in the bucket as to the realness of this show. So if you go to AnomicAge.com, you can find well over 400 information breakdown segments. Tonight's, what are we at? 446. I believe show number 205 is the last one that I had with a guest. So we got two different things going on. We got the full Monty with guests, about an hour plus per show there. And we got these short little, not so lengthy, just for the goldfish-minded, short pieces, about 20 minutes in duration. Because I know most of you just can't handle the flow. That is the AnomicAge.com in its entirety. So here I am, there you are. Let's jump into the deep end of the pool today, shall we? Talking about finding yourself. I'm a little bit more amped than usual. I apologize if you had to sit through some nonsense there where the show started and stopped, but I ain't going to belabor those points. It just makes me more fired up to deliver a more succinct and clear show. So here we go. Finding yourself. So much to get into with this. I barely know where to begin. It's like that old Hamlet thing from Billy Shakespeare. To thine own self be true. To your own self be true. What a concept. And I'm here to submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans of all ages, those of you who still identify as human, that is the biggest problem going on today. I know people are going to belabor those points. Say, what about Satan and what about the communists and what about the chemtrails and the food? Yeah, that's all part and parcel to it, folks. But we got a real identity crisis in America. We have a self-crisis in America because people do not have any vaguest of notions as to who they actually are. There's the image we're looking for, that one. Brought to you by yours truly. People have no clue who they are, folks. And I would submit to you that this is kind of done by design. You got to go back to the Frankfurt School. You got to go back to all these commie Satan fruitcakes that were imported into our lovely republic over 100 years ago, and probably even before that, if you want to go back to the Masonic links to our nation's inception. But the Frankfurt School most assuredly brought division. It got people to not like who they are. It got people to side on one side or the other. You're with us or you're with the terrorists. You're black or you're white, you're gay, you're straight, all this nonsense. Avoidance of self. Hatred of self. Questioning of self. All that flies in the face of to thine own self be true, because if you don't even know who you are, you're ripe for the taking. You are ripe for just falling into these traps. So some of the other issues with this is we have separated ourselves from our proverbial tribes. Yeah, 1913 income tax, ring a bell? Now you went from one head of household, if you will, say at the tax form, to two. You went from mom taking care of the kids to who knows taking care of the kids to the state taking care of the kids. Again, promulgating, fostering, incubating this notion of it's okay to not have any idea who you are. You are separated from the tribe. You are separated from mom and dad. You are separated from friends, family, and loved ones, and you are put into an institution. And those unlucky souls that fall for so much of this falderall will find themselves in another institution. A group home, juvenile hall, all the way up to the penitentiary. Institutions, once again. And then if you make it through, the Flowers for Algernon maze, then you get thrust into another institution, don't you? Because then you can be in the military. Then you can be a firefighter. Then you can be a teacher or a nurse. You see, you can fall right in line to another institution, never truly grasping who thine own self is to even be true to it. That's the problem, folks. And the proverbial they would have you fall in line and pledge your allegiance to all sorts of things. I think it was a Beach Boys song. Could have been Jan and Dean. I'm not sure. All I remember is a great old episode of a short-lived program in the 80s called Riptide. And there was a great episode, I believe it probably encountered True to Your School. And they played that oldies, if you will. I doubt it was even that old at that point in the game. Classic Be True to Your School now. Yeah. And the proverbial they have gotten us to pledge our allegiance to all sorts of things, not the least of which is nation, but gang affiliation, to the further separation of everyone now by their color, by their sexual orientation, by their various proclivities. You have all sorts of allegiances, again, not the least of which is true to thyself. So from your birth, you are pushed into these various institutions. You are pushed, prodded, programmed, and otherwise shoved into identities that you don't even know if they're your own. You hear these people having an identity crisis. It used to be the midlife crisis. About 20 years ago, there was a book called Quarter Life Crisis. And people are quick to judge and say, oh my gosh, they've lost their mind. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know where they are. They're buying a sports car, or buying a motorcycle, or having this breakdown at 25 or what have you. Folks, Why are you surprised? Is any of this anything but emblematic of the very toxic world that we live in? We don't know who we are any more than the man in the moon. I would submit to you that most people know who they are based on other people. That old looking glass self concept from Psych and Soch. Looking glass self is basically saying just this, not to mention a great Snapcase record, but I digress. It's basically you get your perceptions of who you are predicated on other people. How people perceive you. It's the who you are, how other people perceive you, and I'm blanking on the third one not right now, but you get the idea. Looking glass self. You're getting your perceptions of you filtered through other people's perceptions of you. And let's be real, folks. Who you really are and other people's perceptions of you is a mini splendored thing right about now. It could be any number of things. You could have one identity in real life, another identity online, a fake persona completely separate from all the above in the workplace, in the home life, and so forth. Folks, we are living in a splintered reality right about now. These notions of a splintered personality and identity separation and all this stuff, that's just the norm now, folks. That's just the norm. These psychological problems that might have been perceived a couple of decades ago at the most are now just, well, that's how it is. You've got people getting catfish. You've got complete AI-generated personas and videos and the like, man. It is insane. So we are very, very far removed from any identity of self. And that is why we have this cultural crisis of identity. You got people not knowing if they're a man or a woman. You got people not knowing if they're a human or a cat. I mean, this is real, folks. These are rare psychological disorders from 100 years ago. Now, commonplace. They've removed you from your tribe. They've caused you to hate who you actually are. Especially if you're a white heterosexual male. Oh my goodness. Society would have you believe that you are the scourge of the universe. None could be lower than the creepy on the shoe of the white heterosexual male, don't you know? So they've taught us to hate ourselves. K through 12 indoctrination, college, university, weaponization. If it teaches you nothing else, if you go to those mainstream institutions, it will teach you to hate yourself. And then by proxy, you become ultra critical of everybody else. It's the Pharisees and the Sadducees all over again. Oh, you're not wearing the right shoe. You're not wearing the right hat. And then the gang stupidity comes. You're wearing the wrong color hat. You're wearing the wrong color shoe. I mean, we have turned ourselves, wittingly or unwillingly, into complete idiots. Complete lack of knowledge of self, of identity, or anything. We're the biggest collection of educated idiots known to man. To paraphrase the All song, Educated Idiots. That's exactly where we are. So you have no knowledge of self. You have no mom nor dad to be there to rear you and tell you how to toe the line that is to be human. It is to be part of said family. To preach self-worth. Identity, to be proud of your family name, to be proud of your heritage, to be proud of your culture. All that's been laid to waste. That's all byproducts of the Frankfurt School. That's what that's all about. Have no racial identity, have no cultural identity, have no homeland, have no people, have no nothing other than the Borg, the amalgamation of non-cultural nonsense that we would call today a global citizen. Reject anything of value, reject anything of self, reject anything of identity in order to be enculturated into this gob of goo. Back to the creepy on the shoe thing. That's where we are today in 2025, year of our Lord. It's funny because I don't believe that I'm very old, but I remember being a kid and getting taught that all these different cultures had value. You talk about the culture of Spain, of Italy, of Germany, of China, of Japan, of Mexico. All these different cultures had value. They had distinct lineage. They had distinct characteristics, traits, languages, and dare I say, color? Yeah. Everybody was their own unique little snowflake back in the day. But you could embrace it and just be that. Now, that's all been traded in for your yellow badge of victimhood, for your amalgamation into the Borg. Because there is no self, there is no culture. It is all just one big thing, man. We're all equal, it's all the same, and that's just a load of hockey. Not true. Everyone's not equal. Everyone's not the same. Everyone is distinct and different and brings something unique to the table. Newsflash. Guys can't do the same thing as girls. Girls can't do the same thing as guys. There are two genders, which are actually referred to as sexes, a la the sex chromosomes, XX or XY. Just the cold hard facts, folks. I know this is mind-blowing in 2025. 30 years ago, this was just the average textbook in a science class. So it's become increasingly hard to find yourself in this morass of nonsense. What's the best way out, John? What's the solution? Do we pull the plug? Do we pull out the old revolver? And no, you don't do any of that, folks. I would suggest pulling the plug, however, not on what you might think, not on thyself. Pull the plug from the nonsense. I'm as guilty as anybody for listening to or at least watching too much stuff. Cut it off. You don't need someone telling you who you should be. Be it. You don't need someone telling you what you should wear, how you should dress, what's cool, what's not cool, what's the latest fashion, latest hairstyle, and what you should look like. Because after a while, if you hadn't noticed, it's all just a marketing ploy. I find it as nauseating as anyone else. If you look on the quote-unquote alternative media, the Patriots, the 1776ers, the 2A's, it's just a morass of the same old, same old. It really is. It's nauseating, disgusting, and otherwise revolting to me. Because they all look the same, folks. Catch on yet? It all is the same. Go look back at any subculture, counterculture, or alternative movement, and the popular culture. There's always the deviants and the normies. Why, folks? Why can't you just be yourself? Just because you're into patriotism, conservatism, and dare I say even remote Christian values, that doesn't mean you have to wear a 2A shirt. That doesn't mean you have to have the Gadsden flag behind you or some horribly trite, dumb wood carving of a burned out American flag. How generic and stupid. Okay? Just doesn't have to be that way. Just because you're into punk doesn't mean you have to have a leather jacket, spikes, and studs. Just because you're into hardcore doesn't mean you have to dress like you hopped out of a 1988 Youth of Today video, okay? Jeepers, man. It's just all so lame. Just because you're into 60s music doesn't mean you have to walk around with Birkenstocks and flowers in your hair and throwing up peace signs. Good night, nurse. What's more, than peace signs? Ew. Go back to the runes and figure out what that peace sign actually is all about. And you'll realize it's not a peace sign, it's a war sign. So take off that stupid old tie-dye and stop flashing me two fingers. Good night, nurse. It's just revolting. Just try stepping away from it all and becoming you. It'll take you some time. You'll have to actually get off the machine in however you see fit. Like that old Bad Religion song, I Just Want to Get Off. And no, it ain't talking about that type of getting off. No. It's talking about getting off the machine, getting off this blender head nonsense of this carousel of turds. Try to step outside of the nonsense. Break on through, if you will, to paraphrase some old Jim Morrison. Break on through to whoever you really are. Stop hanging out with people. Embrace the loneliness. Embrace the solitude. Depeche Mode song, enjoy the silence. Yeah, enjoy the silence. That's a whole nother ball of wax that I think everybody needs to take part of. Just sitting around in silence. Take the phones and the technology away from yourself. I'm not joking. Put this mess down. Lock it in a closet if you have to. Get it away from you. And just sit around and think. Think about what, John? Think about nothing. Think about everything. Like that old suicidal tendencies line. I was in my room thinking about everything, but then again, I was thinking about nothing. Exactly. Mike Muir had the right idea over 40 years ago, folks. Get in the room, think about nothing, but think about everything. Figure it out. Don't look to your friends, family, or otherwise for adulation, for attaboys, for validation, to use their words. Validation, man. Screw the validation. Find out who you are. It might be surprising, startling, or even otherwise scary, but do it. All right. That's all I can take. Till I can't take no more. You can't do everything, but you can do something. Get out there, do your part, make a difference. I'll be seeing you sooner than later in the AnomicAge.
Thank you for listening to the AnomicAge, a JohnAge project. For past shows, further info, and to comment, go to AnomicAge.com. That's AnomicAge.com. Till next time, thank you for listening to the AnomicAge.